Hello, this is Jess. This is chat session number 167, April 16th, 2018, Monday evening, about 11:30 p.m. I'm going to go right into the tidbits of history. We're going to just have a short one here. 1705, Queen Anne of England knights Isaac Newton at Trinity College, Cambridge. I look up different history stuff, and the one that I had, it's actually for April 17th, so I had to redo it real quick. But anyway, that's interesting. Of course, mathematically and the mind of Sir Isaac Newton. He used physics, mathematics, and came up with some huge, I guess, discoveries about gravity, and of course it goes way beyond that. But he was a major player in in the evolution of where we are scientifically, mathematically. He was very brilliant, and if I'm not mistaken, he was also involved in the he was one of the ones who and this is just off the top of my head, I didn't research this, but I believe he was one of the ones of the Spanish Inquisition, where religion and Catholicism collided. I believe he might have even been called a heretic at one time, being against religion and more with science. But he was able to, now I may be misspeaking, but I believe that's the situation that I recall reading about numerous times about Newton, was that he stood his ground on his exploration of the mind concerning, like I said, the way things moved, the physics of it, the calculations of when something happens, this happens, this kind of thing. He may have even been out there, but he was brilliant. But that's all we're going to say about that, so I don't get too far deep in case I'm speaking wrong on that. But I do believe he was one of the ones that was involved in that, what they called the Spanish Inquisition, I believe. So that's the tidbits of history for today, April 16th. I'm gonna go in and again, I want to go back to the resounding hatred that has enveloped our world. There's still a lot of good stuff. I'm not negative on that. I think there's still a lot of good folks out there. I think there's still a lot of good feelings out there. But I think it has become acceptable to hate, to bring down somebody else with the intent of hurting or damaging somebody in some way, mentally or physically, with words, or like I said, physically with actions of abuse, different things against other people. I think it's a very sad time for that, and I think it falls hand in hand with the rhetoric that's going on in our national government against. Now, I think that the hatred in this sense may be economic, because we have all these billionaire class people in power who don't understand what poverty is, or if they had been, they've forgotten about it, and they continually want to slash programs that are a helping hand for the impoverished. And I can understand one angle they use is that people abuse the system and try to take advantage of it and make gains through illegal means. And of course, that's, being poor is nothing new to our society, our world, and abuse of people helping has happened surely in the past. But that's no excuse for looking down on the people that actually are struggling financially, having a very hard time making ends meet, losing electricity, losing water, essential items for living a normal life, so to say. And I think that these people that are in power in our government, now granted they were elected, you got to at least give that to them, but the total disregard for humanity when it comes to slashing programs that actually benefit people that are impoverished, and unfortunately in other countries around the world, when you're impoverished like that, you turn into a slave to survive. You do anything you can to get the essentials like food and water. In those countries around the world, there is no assistance of any kind. Greed has taken over all those countries' governments, and they use the impoverished people to gain acquisition from other nations that are willing to help, and then they get the help through the government channels, but the government takes it all and the people still remain impoverished. Again, it's a sad day in our world for this, and the hatred builds, and since they can't defend themselves, they become targets in other countries of military experimentation, medical testing, just different things that they can get picked up for being poor. They sometimes in certain countries, the kids can't escape being sold by their parents into a form of slavery to pay off medical bills for people that are trying to survive life, and they have to have medical attention, and the way they do that is they buy into these I guess corporate entities that put the kids to work in camps, paying them bullcrap wages, causing them to remain impoverished. But they do it they sell the kids to pay the bills that are required for the survival of one part of the family, different things. And again, it's a sad situation in our world under these circumstances. Now more on another avenue of discussion. We are using our military might in the United States to attack another country that was using some chemical weapons on their people, and we're doing that to supposedly stop them from using those weapons again on their people. But we also in our own country have a history of issues that large areas of the population are poisoned through neglect of accountability on the fact, like, okay, an example would be Flint, Michigan. Necessarily it wasn't chemical weapons used on people, but it was neglect of infrastructure that the people that are running the Detroit area, in Michigan, the different areas around there, and the pipes and different things for the water supply became contaminated, and many people drank high content lead water, different things causing all kinds of illnesses due to corporate neglect of dumping chemicals. Now this may fall under chemical poisoning or whatever, no different, except that it's done out of neglect of their duties to protect the people, and so things like that happen where many people are injured physically, mentally through some of the stuff. There's corporation, they dump water into, they dump poison into the water supplies. And in Virginia, they had a very big scare. Some company was just pushing out crap into the water. The water supply was poisoned. And again, it's not necessarily a direct attack with intent to destroy from a government, but it is the government turning a blind eye to the corporate powers to be that allow this pollution and dumping of poisons into our water supply. Not necessarily different in the end results, but different in the intent. Greed took over, I think, and a lot of times the environment doesn't matter when they're making billions, and so they just destroy our natural resources or water supply, different things like that. Anyway, we're in the process of bombing people, and it could really turn into something. There's a lot of major powers in the earth that are vying for position in Syria, Russia being one, Iran being another, and of course the United States. We're involved in it. We're bombing them. It's a rough time for peace, but I think that Megadeth had a song that said, "Peace sells, but who's buying?" Interesting correlation of events. That song came to my mind simply for the fact that peace is a long way away for Syria, and it could lead to other nations now becoming involved in a more broad-scale war. Let's just hope that doesn't occur. Alright, well, I gotta go to work at 7 in the morning. It's my first job. I'm off from my other one for a couple days, so I'm gonna probably try here in a little while to get some more rest. I'll be working a long shift, I'm sure, tomorrow. I got off at around 4:30 today, 4:45, so I've had some time to recoup and just relax, and enjoyed it, and actually went to sleep for a little while. Just got up a little while ago to come in and make this session. This is Jess. This is chat session number 167. Appreciate you watching if you've made it this far. Hey Austin, what's up? Have a great Monday evening, and hopefully we'll see you next time if the Lord's willing and the creeks don't rise.